Welcome to my daily review. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which was up 49 points today, or 0.26%, closed at 18,567. The volume was 3% higher than the 50-day average. You can see it just had an inside day today, could not take out the high from Friday of 18,690. Today's high was 671, but you can see both days they closed at the lows. There's a caution ahead of these mega cap earnings here: Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Apple. So that's what's going to drive this index higher or lower, depending upon the data point. Starting with Google tomorrow, but I'll get into that later. I just want to go through some stocks here. I guess I'll show the Dow Jones first. What the heck? Dow Jones had a decent day, 273 points, 0.65%, 2% above average volume, and it undercut the 21. Now it's below it. Just had an inside day today. So not a bad day for the Dow Jones, but I'm sensing that the Nasdaq is starting to take leadership. And these earnings reports are going to dictate pretty much everything this week for the Nasdaq. This is the SPY. It was up, a third of a percent, 0.31%. Had just an inside day. So a lot of caution ahead of those mega cap earnings reports. But I'm going to go to, some of the stocks that are really working, and the nuclear stocks have gone nuclear. This is OKLO exploding for 28% today with 360% above average daily volumes. That's a move not to be ignored. This is that Sam Altman energy play. It's a SPAC, and you can see every time it pulls back. I've been talking about, how dips are being bought in the market. A leading stocks in an uptrending market, they're going to be bought. This one didn't even come down to its 10. So very strong stock there. SMR is another one. New scale power. This one, had this little wedge pattern popped, and back to the moving average popped, little another wedge back to the not even to the 10, probably to about the 8 there, and then exploded higher 20% today. So these stocks are super strong in the energy and alternative energy sector. You can see a leading group, one of the top three groups, leading stocks and leading groups. And this is NNE. And there's nothing to say here. I mean, it's just finding support at the 21 every time. So stocks above the 21 I like. Stocks below the 21 I don't like. I just like to keep it simple there. So that one looks pretty good. Very consistent pattern. If you just look at these tops here, top to bottom, then it runs up. If you're a trader, you sell here and you buy when it dips, and you sell here, then you buy when it dips, and you sell here, then you buy when it dips. So if you can master that strategy, on that stock, I haven't traded it at all, but just identifying strength today. That's all I'm doing here. With these, like I said, the nuclear stocks went nuclear. Constellation Energy, this one had that deal with Microsoft. And this is the day that it was announced, and it's just been super strong ever since. That was September 20th. And now it's kind of wedging here, or flagging, or pinching, whatever term you want to use, is it's getting tighter here. And so I like that above the 21, of course. So that's a nice little pinching pattern there. Popped a little bit today, but yeah, it's still 1.8% above the 21. So, a 1% move today, not bad. VST, which had a huge move earlier, from 72 to 140, 143, and then pulled back to 114. This is doing kind of the same thing. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe not quite as tight as Constellation, but pretty darn similar here. And I like that pattern above the 21. So it was up 3% today. That's a nice move for Vistra. And the energy sector was super strong. GEV, which is GE Vernova, which has been like a total leader lately, finally taking a breather, allowing this 10 to catch up. So maybe it'll pull back to this 10 and give us a chance to get in. You can see what it's done in the past, not guarantee, past performance does not guarantee future results, but you can see it just waits for the 10 here and then pops, waits for the 10, then pops, waits for the 10, and then pop. So we'll see, this week what happens with GEV. Anyway, that's it for the energy group. I want to talk about the retail names because retail was pretty strong today. And Deckers reported last week. This thing's setting up nicely. I think I put this one on my ready list. Yeah, I did. Okay. So anyway, just had an inside day today. No great shakes, but that's healthy as it builds the right side of the base and allows the moving averages to catch up. You could see this RS line going straight through the moving averages there. And so that looks good to me. I mean, just an inside day, just a breather after that big move on Friday, following pretty solid results from Deckers once again. Yeah, it moved 11% with that kind of volume. So that's a move not to be ignored. And I'm not ignoring it. All right. Another one in the group that I like. It's got this once again, pulls back to the 21 and finds support. That's what you want to see out of your leading stocks here. This one forms like a shelf as it pulls back to the 21, ramps up, and now it pulls back to the 50, which you don't want your stock hanging down there too long. And then ramped up on Friday following Decker's report and had just an inside day. Well, just flat today, 4 cents. So anyway, I'm going to get to some stocks that might make that thing move this week. We'll see. Anyway, a lot of stuff going on in the retail group. I'm going to go to the restaurant group first or after the shoe group. And this is Brinker. And this one is just Kelly Slater stock, man. This thing's just barreling higher. Just a one-way stock, hanging 10 on that 10. Won't even pull back to the 10. So Brinker International, EAT is the ticker symbol. Very strong, making new highs. CAVA, think it made a new high today. Um, I don't think I had this on my list. No, 141.25. Yeah, definitely made a new high today. So didn't close near the highs. You can see the close here. The close was weak today. A lot of caution ahead of, the earnings reports that are coming in this week. All right. Did I mention that before? You probably heard it all week. This is Shake Shack. Nice move here. Breaking out of that consolidation pattern. 3.5% move. So that's nice. This cup with handle pattern finally starting to move out. You see that earnings line heading due north for Shake Shack. They're going to report Wednesday. So you got to know your earnings reports because you don't want to get stuck. I'm going to get to that in a minute as well. Texas Roadhouse, they reported last week. So earnings are behind Texas Roadhouse. You can see the nice move here as it pulled back to the 21, prior to the earnings and then ramped up a little bit, probably some short covering down to the 21, then gapped higher on Friday, and then had an inside day today. What was that gap move on Friday? Yeah, 3.5%, and the inside day today. Texas Roadhouse looks fantastic. All right, what other ones in the retail group? Oh, Sweet Greens, another one, making new highs today. Very nice. And then Sprouts Farmers Market, not a restaurant stock, but a food stock. And I just got to point to this thing. Nobody talks about this stock. It's just quietly just trading higher. And just that's a thing of beauty, really. Talk about hanging 10. This is Casey. I put this on my ready list today. I don't know what the buy point was, 393 or something, but it's got to go through 400. That's a nice little shelf pattern as it pulled back here. But if it gets knocked down at 400, then then that 4017 is going to act as resistance. You want to see it blast through there. So that's what I'm looking for. Close at 400 today. So I'm looking for that rest of the week. Casey looks pretty doggone good. I guess they have good hot dogs. Anyway, I'm going to move on to Build-A-Bear, which I used to take the kids to Build-A-Bear when I was a principal. They'd have fundraisers and I would volunteer. Very cool. The young kids love building their bears. But anyway, making a new high today for Build-A-Bear workshop, and so I always like to see that because it's a company that I'm familiar with. Carvana. Definitely a strong stock. I thought I was going to have trouble at 200, but it's just going right through 200 here. You can see that shelf pattern. And last week it broke higher above 200, and today tacked on more gains. So definitely one that I'm watching. Carvana, Shark Ninja. Another one that's just kind of quietly forming this shelf pattern. I like it above 110.96, call it 111, and it closed right there today. I would put that on the ready list there. Shark Ninja looks pretty good to me. The problem is they report on Halloween this Thursday. There's a lot of stocks like that that I wrote down that I'm going to get to later on. Anyway, um, not a lot of stocks, but there's some stocks that I like that I couldn't put on because they're just they're too close to earnings, and I'll go through those all week, especially after they report earnings. Victoria's Secret. Somebody knows a secret here. This one keeps pulling back and finding support. So very nice move today, nearly 4% for Vicky's Secret. And what was the other one that I was looking at? Oh, Love and Victoria's Secret. They kind of go together. This is a retail home furnishing stock. Broke out of this base here today. It's cup with handle pattern, nice 8% move. Thank you very much. All right, enough with the retail. I've got to go to some software names. App11, this is one of our top stocks on our leading stock list. It was only up $4.5 today. Not bad. 3% move. Light volume. They don't report till next week though. So sometimes when stocks make big moves like this and are way ahead of their 10 EMA and they report, they pull back even on good reports, just profit taking, buy the rumor, sell the news type of action. So you got to be careful there unless you have a big cushion. Spotify, this one I do have on my ready list once again this week. Just finding support at the 21. So as long as it keeps doing that, the 21's rising and they find support there, you're making bank. DUOL, Duolingo is another one that I like. I think 297.56 would be nice if it trades above that and breaks out of that little box. That's going to attract some buyers, but I just got to wait for it. It was flat today, essentially down, 0.4%. It was up on the session when I saw it earlier. Yeah, here it goes and sell off into the close. Yeah, it just got real cautious into the close today, kind of like Friday as we await those mega cap earnings report. Have I mentioned that? Yeah. And then, oh, TOST. I've been using this at this place that I go to. They got toast. I said, oh man, this is a credit card payment. Yeah, good stock. Um, Support at the 21, just grinding higher. And that's what you want to see if you're a swing trader or a trend trader, just trending higher. There's nothing to do there. All right. I'm going to move on from the software names. I've got to go to my what I call, my, this is a boomer trade. I think the boomers, have millions and millions of dollars in their 401ks, and they have at 73 the 3% required minimum distribution. So if you got 10 million in there, they're taking out 300 grand. They're traveling around the world. They're booking hotels. They're eating at restaurants. They're just spending their kids' inheritance. What they're doing, darn it. And this is Alaska Air. This is a pretty good airline company. At least when I travel, very consistent pattern here. Every time it pulls back, it finds support. Now it pinched in. I've shown you a bunch of these wedges here, especially in those energy names, and popped today 3.5%. So that looks pretty darn good. This is Delta. This has got their hub in Atlanta. I got to go to the weekly here because it looks like, yeah, base on base pattern and finally moving higher, up 2.5% today as it pulled back, gapped higher, and then pulled back to its 10 found support. You can see that it closed near the lows of the day, like a lot of stocks did today, as the index is sold off. Yeah, 22% of its daily range. So it was much higher. If I take a look at the 5-minute there, yeah, there's the big move up, and okie doke. See you later. I'm gonna take profits into the close. All right. So that was Delta Airlines. Oh, United Airlines. I don't know about this one. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's just this thing looks like a tech stock, a software name from 2020. Just romping higher. My goodness. So anyway, that's my story. The boomers, they're spending their money. They're taking their money out of their 401ks, and they're spending it. They're traveling all over the world. They're taking cruises on Carnival Cruise Line. Once again, just very familiar pattern here. Same thing. I think they report, no. RCL reports tomorrow or Carnival. Yeah, tomorrow, Royal Caribbean. So we'll hear from them in the morning. Got that little shelf pattern as it pull back to the 10, but these cruise lines are just super hot. Um, there's that pattern again, that wedge pattern where I say in an uptrending market, strong stocks are being bought, right? The dips are being bought. It dips, dips to a moving average. This is the 21 here, dips and it's bought and it pulls back and this dip is bought, even though close near the lows of the day, like, everything else. And then what was it? Oh, Travel Zoo is one that is making a big move up, 13%. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. This is an earnings play, I believe. Yeah, but yeah, the boomers are taking their money out. They're not leaving anything for their kids and they're spending it all on themselves. Darn it. No, I'm just teasing. Oh, I've got to move on to another group here, the Argentina banks, which is kind of a niche market, but I was going to put this one on my radar list today, and I thought, and I don't want to get too crazy here. The Nasdaq's going to be cautious, but right there at 1516 is your buy point. I might put it on tomorrow, but it popped 3% today, so it's kind of extended from its 10 there. Yeah, 5.3%. I don't like to chase stuff, so if it pulls back, fine, but if not, on to the next. I don't care. I'm not going to chase Argentina banks. GGAL, another one, just making new highs. So very strong. And the other one was BBAR, which is another Argentina bank. These are just showing strength. I'm just showing you these, as a sign of strength, relative strength. It's not, near a buy point. You can see this thing's been moving. A lot of buying coming in, and even this one sold off into the close. How about that? Nobody's immune. No stock is immune. All right, and then the couple others I got to get to. The biotech sector has always got news, always got, penthouse or outhouse. This one undercut the 50 and rallied today, only 32%. Nice move. That one moved on. News, TGTX, no news here, but I kind of like this pattern here. It's pretty consistent. You could see it as it pulls back. Every time it pulls back, it's getting bought up here. That's an extreme pullback, moved higher, pull back to the 50, traded higher, undercut the 50 now, rallied back up, and now it's right here near its 50 again. It popped 4% today, which is a nice move, but I still think this one has some juice left in it. Right, that's it for TGTX. Oh, and Lilly, drug stock that reports Wednesday morning. So they should report good numbers. And then the last I've got to get to is the crypto names. This is MicroStrategy. This one's up a ton this year. And when a stock like this is up 15% above its 10 EMA going into earnings, I mean, that tells me that this is just short covering. Yeah, a lot of short interest here in this one. I would stay away from this. I know it's tempting, but you can't buy ahead of earnings. You got to practice some risk management. It's a very strong stock, but even with a blowout number, strong earnings and guidance, there's a chance that it's going to pull back at least to its 10. I mean, it's just so far extended here. Nice move. I mean, but got to use some common sense here. Coin is also reporting Wednesday. They're all reporting Wednesday, and same with Robinhood. And you can see that one's just already broken out and extended higher. So out of those three, actually, coin looks closest to its moving averages. So anyway, that's it for that. And I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Tomorrow there's going to be more earnings reports, and those mega caps are the ones to pay attention to. They're going to drive the index. Anyway, in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I do have one more thing. And that's tonight. We had some earnings reports from Transmedics, which didn't go so well. It's down, 24% after hours. Yeah, yeah, from 126 to 96. That's not too good. That's what happens, when they go from, triple digit growth, 159, 133, 118, and they reported 64% sales growth. They missed on top and bottom line. So It's going to get a nice haircut tomorrow. I just stay away from this. This looks to me like a stage 4 decline. The Weinstein stage 4, you got your, stage 1 base, you got your ascent. And then now it couldn't, make any more traction higher. And so what does it do? You can't go higher. You're going to go lower. And the slowing growth for a growth stock is death. And it's going to open up around, what, 95 tomorrow? So probably now 100 will be resistance, the 50 up here. So anyway, that's too bad. Another growth stock bites the dust. CDNS, this is one of those computer software designed for semiconductors. They're up 5.5% after hours. So that's very good news for the semiconductor. It's computer software design, but it's in the semiconductor space. So SNPS is another one, which would be some pin action in that group, maybe. You could see the pretty similar chart patterns there. Ford reported. I didn't hear anything about Ford, down 5%, not too good. Ugh. And then Rambus reported tonight, down 2%. No bueno. You could see this one's down in a limbo down here, just doing nothing, purgatory for a while. That's in timeout for a while. Another 2% move lower after that big move lower. That does not look good. Waste Management reported tonight. Yeah, just flat city. That's kind of the way that stock trades anyway. Bro, my favorite insurance company, reported tonight. Yeah, up a buck, not bad. VF Corp reported, and they're up 18%. Nice. All right. So that's an apparel clothing stock, which is good because, yes, I like that very much. FFIV, I'm going to get to that in a minute. And Network Solutions stock up 11% after hours. Very nice. So you got some tech stocks here that are moving here with Cadence, CDNS, and this one here, F5, it's Network Solutions, and then AMKR is one that I'm looking at here. Semiconductor play down 11%. No bueno. This is a small one. It's got a 7 billion market cap. Anyway, that's it for tonight's earnings. I'll have more on that in the morning. As I get the data, I read through their reports. And then tomorrow we're going to hear from a couple of names here. SOFI is reporting in the morning, a bank stock, and then the other one is PayPal reports in the morning. I'm interested in that. And then I mentioned CROX because there's Deckers and On Holdings, and the other one was what FFIV? No. VFC, VF Corp was up after hours, so that could help. They're not the largest companies. CROX is 8 billion. VSC is a 6.5 billion market cap. So I'm going to add to it tomorrow, but perhaps some pin action there. McDonald's reports in the morning. They've been hit with the E. coli, and they said it was in the onions and not in the beef, I guess. So that's a good thing. I don't dine at fast food joints. I got food poisoning as a kid, and I don't. It was a bad experience, so I don't subject myself to that anymore. Pfizer reports in the morning, so we're going to hear from them. I'll have more on that, and then the RCL, Royal Caribbean, forming this shelf. We'll see what they have to say. And who else reports is THC, Tenet Healthcare, which has been really strong, sliced its 50. So anyway, I did mention some tech stocks. You're going to report. Google reports tomorrow after the bell. I kind of like this setup because it's sold off. It's had, so its battles with the government, and I think that's kind of been settled. We'll see what they have to say about advertising dollars in YouTube and how search is going, but it doesn't look like a bad setup coming in. Broke above a downtrend line. So I kind of like Meta going into, Alphabet for tomorrow. I mentioned Meta because it's pretty similar setup. It's just above its moving average instead of being down below. This one got that, pinch action here, that bull wedge, which we've seen so much of. Rally back above the 21. So Meta I like as well. Microsoft I like the setup too. Because the bad news priced in, when they're down like this, a big stock like this, it sells off. Let me go to the weekly here. This is what, 9% off of its 52-week high without any news, without really doing anything. But we're going to find out about their CapEx spending. This is the box that would attract those harvest type traders, but it's trading tight within a base near its moving averages. I like that setup right there. So we'll have to wait and see from Microsoft on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, Amazon reports. Once again, I like this setup. I think these are set up to go higher. I might be crazy. I might be wrong. It might sell off. They might just burn. But this is a nice setup here for Amazon. Trading tight within a base near its moving averages. Already made a big move. Consolidated for quite some time here. I think these are set up to move higher. But like I said, I could be wrong. And I don't play earnings big. I mean, I might take a 1% position, but I'm not going to get burned. I'm going to show you why in a second. This is Apple. Pulled back to its 21. What was the news today? Something about their artificial intelligence. That's right. But you just got to wait to hear what they say about their new phone and how it's selling and their forward guidance and all that. Anyway, I did promise to show you one thing, and that is CROX. My biggest loss, and this is why Webby calls me Mr. CROX. I had owned CROX from these breakouts back here, had big position. I'm talking 25% position in this thing going into earnings on Halloween of 2007. It was my biggest loss, one-day loss ever. So yeah, I was getting a little cocky and complacent. I didn't even know what we all make mistakes, but I was thinking, I just got complacent. You win for so long and you make so much money off one stock, you think it's infallible. But I didn't read the signs because it's trading, loose here. You see how it's trading all, tight here within this base, makes another base. It's real tight trading, real tight daily ranges. Then it breaks out and moves higher. And here's where it starts getting, wide and loose, where it closes below the 50, then rallies up, kind of trades tight here. But look at this wide and loose action. Look at this daily bar here. So I should have known. I've gone over this with my trading friends. I should have known this bounce off the 50 was it's too wide. I mean, look at that daily range. That's $7. Where back here it was trading, what, a 50 cent, a dollar move every day, a dollar move. And then all of a sudden it's trading, this big wide bar here, $7. So I should have known. I didn't. I took a 25% position into earnings and I lost, not everything that I had made, but I lost a lot of money in one day. So that kind of stings. And that's why, I don't get big into earnings because it was down, 36% in a day. So that is a real bad haircut. And when you see that, you just sell it all. Don't hope that it's going to bounce off anything because you can see in subsequent days, when the growth stock, stops growing, you can see what happened. Just kept going lower and lower and lower. And it just pains me to bring this back up. But I wanted to show you that during earnings season, this can happen to you. It does happen as we're seeing with Transmedics tonight. What's the date today? 10/28. Whereas Transmedics is down after hours. So, that's too bad. Whoops, 28, Marty, 28. So we can get a read on Transmedics. What's it doing? Okay, it's coming back a little bit. Still down, 24 something percent. I just showed that to you just as a warning that these things do happen and it's painful. And I experienced it firsthand with a good chunk of my money. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening. Yankees, Dodgers tonight.